Welcome to the Daily Mastermind. My name is George Wright III. I'm excited to be here with you today on the first ever episode of the Daily Mastermind podcast. I created the Daily Mastermind podcast and mobile app to provide entrepreneurs just like you and just like me with daily inspiration, motivation, and education that's critical to unleashing your true potential and creating your ultimate destiny. I've been an entrepreneur all my life, and I'm passionate about personal development and financial education. This has allowed me to work with some of the world's most successful entrepreneurs over the past 20 years. I've reached massive success in my life, but it hasn't always been easy. I've struggled through depression, anxiety, divorce, and all the challenges that come along with being an entrepreneur. And I want to share my lessons, my experiences, and strategies that I've learned over the years with you in order to help you to create massive success in your business, your relationships, and your life. But before I do, it's important that I point out that it hasn't always been easy for me. It hasn't been an easy road. Like most entrepreneurs, maybe just like you, I've had some massive obstacles, challenges, situations to overcome throughout the years. I've learned many great lessons, and I hope to share some of those with you so that you can gain and learn from my experience, and ultimately so that you can 10 times the results that you have. In fact, about 5 years ago, I felt like my entire world was falling apart when I went through a very difficult divorce. I felt like I was at the top of my game at the time, and yet I was struggling with massive depression, lack of self-confidence, and anxiety. But hang on, let me back up just a little bit, and let me tell you a little bit about myself, and I'll come back to that. You see, I started my career at 17 years old, right out of high school, when I found out my girlfriend was pregnant with twin boys. And I got to tell you, that was a wake-up moment for me, to say the least. But I made the decision right then and there that I was going to create my life. I was young, I was optimistic, and so, like most of you, I just put my head down and I started to grind. And over the past 20 years, I've built and grown several multi-million-dollar companies that have produced hundreds of millions of dollars in sales and revenue worldwide. Now, many of these companies are still recognized leaders around the world in personal development and financial education. And for those of you that already know me, you know I've done the marketing and grown the brands for some of the world's top celebrities, authors, and athletes. And it's allowed me to actually create a pretty incredible income, lifestyle, and what most people would define as success. I was able to basically accomplish most of the goals I had set out for myself in life and in business. But I got to tell you, there was always something missing in my life. And I was struggling to find real happiness and real fulfillment. I just couldn't understand what was missing. Maybe you felt the same at times. Maybe you felt like you haven't been able to get what you thought you'd get when you achieved a goal. Now, don't get me wrong. I loved the success and the lifestyle that I was getting. I'd made a name for myself in business. I'd led multi-million-dollar companies, developed winning strategies, and I've rubbed shoulders with some of the biggest leaders in personal development and financial education around the world. My life was really good, and based on my definition of success, I had basically made it, but it wasn't enough. Apparently, there were a few lessons I still needed to learn. And so about 5 years ago, my business, my personal life, and a lot of things that I was doing started to fall apart. I'd fallen into a heavy depression, my marriage was no longer working, and it resulted in a very difficult divorce for me. I wasn't happy, and just nothing seemed to fill the void. Didn't matter whether it was cars, houses, travel, lifestyle. I couldn't figure out what it was I needed to do. I was just stuck. Now, luckily, I had a good friend and mentor that helped me during this time. He offered me some advice, and it made me question my definition of success and happiness. I was able to ask myself some really hard questions about my life because I was in that situation, and he helped me to realize that I've always had the power to create my life the way I want it to be, and I could simply choose happiness at any moment. I learned that happiness was a choice and that success and prosperity were more than just the money in my pocket or the lifestyle. But there was also a more important lesson I learned, and it was a really big one. I learned that I needed to take responsibility for my life and the lack of where I wanted it to be. Because, are you ready for this? You've heard it before. Your thoughts create your life. And I was responsible for my life that I had created up to that point. Now, I know you've heard that before, so did I. But I needed to take responsibility for my life 100% before I could really move forward. I also learned another important lesson. I learned that success is not to be pursued, it's to be attracted by the person that I become. As one of my great mentors, Jim Rohn, has said many times. Now, this blew my mind because I had worked my butt off to create success. I didn't understand why at each level I had achieved, it seemed like I just needed more or that there was something missing. I simply needed to stop pushing so hard. And once I learned that, I also recognized that I had a problem. I needed some support to deal with the stress and anxiety that I dealt with on a daily basis as an entrepreneur. Because being an entrepreneur is a roller coaster of emotions on a daily basis. Your mind can really determine your results, and entrepreneurs like you and like me, we deal with stress, divorce, anxiety, depression, lack of confidence, and many other obstacles like that on a daily basis. Life-changing difficulties. So I realized I needed to have more of a daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and strategies that I could use and implement to keep me in the zone every single day. Every day was a battle that I was going to win. I needed to create daily rituals that would empower me and help me to unleash my potential and start living the life I was meant to live. Now I did this and I began to see some significant improvements. I also worked closely with my friend, my soon-to-be partner and mentor, and I implemented principles like the Daily Mastermind or Mastermind, daily affirmations, and success principles that have been taught by many of the experts. I consumed books, audios, podcasts, everything I could get my hands on. Now, through this process, I created and I launched the Daily Mastermind mobile app, which many of you might have downloaded already on iTunes or the Android marketplace. We've had thousands and thousands of downloads, but I also wanted to give back, and I wanted to support other entrepreneurs like myself. So I created, and I'm now launching this podcast called the Daily Mastermind. Also, I've collected and created 12 prosperity pillars over the years that I've worked with some of these big names in the industry like Tony Robbins and T. Harv Eker, Robert Kiyosaki, and other experts in transforming your life and creating massive financial success, as well as life success. And I've organized those prosperity pillars and into a curriculum that I consider to be a key foundation of training and strategies that I could use to empower myself and others just like you on a daily basis. So my goal with this podcast is to give you content on a daily basis. That's right, fresh content daily. That'll help you to be able to live the life you were meant to live and become the incredible entrepreneur that I know you can be. So I'm going to give you a daily dose, basically, daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education to help you create your ultimate destiny. I am fully committed to give you everything I have for knowledge, experience, proven track record, and support based on my years of experience. Basically a daily dose of vitamin G, you could call it. So each day I'll be sending you nuggets of content. These are things that I've learned and continue to learn from the best thought leaders in the world. And I'll record a short 5 to 10 minute segment that'll provide you inspirational quotes, motivational thoughts, key strategies and tips that I believe will help you that you can apply in your daily life. Now my hope is it'll guide you to become more than you can imagine and everything that you can hope for. I'll also be including bonus audios weekly of key interviews that I'm going to do with some of the world's top authors, celebrities, athletes, and entrepreneurs. I'm going to dig into my Rolodex, get with some of those individuals, and I'll uncover and outline the proven principles and strategies that each of them have used to create success and happiness in their lives. And I will drive as much content, tips, and techniques as I can to help you apply every single day. Now, ultimately, I want to create value for you in your journey as an entrepreneur, and I want to help you to continue to create your own masterpiece of life, whatever you see that as being. So I want to thank you for listening to me today. I look forward to building a relationship with you over the coming weeks, months, years. And as my mentor and friend Les Brown has said many times, you are special and there is greatness in you. So please remember this. It's never too late to create the life you were meant to live. My name is George Wright III, and I look forward to hearing from you. Make it a great day.